Ever caught yourself spiraling over one tiny mistake and wondered, am I the toxic one? Dive in as we blend hilarious insights with powerful psychology hacks to help you kick toxic thinking to the curb and reclaim your mental health. Before we dive into the hilarity of our human minds, let me drop some high-voltage keywords that our digital overlords love. Toxic thinking, mental health, self-care, overgeneralization, perfectionism, cognitive biases, self-reflection, personal growth, mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and psychology. These aren't just buzzwords. They're the secret sauce to understanding how our brains sometimes turn a molehill into a mountain and then charge us admission to the pity party. All right, let's kick things off by asking, what exactly is toxic thinking? Picture your brain as that overenthusiastic friend who exaggerates every single story. Oh, you missed a bus. That means you're doomed for life. Sound familiar? That's toxic thinking in action. Now, toxic thinking isn't about having a bad day. It's a sneaky habit that convinces you that one awkward moment or one failure defines your entire existence. It's like that one friend who never lets you forget that time you tripped in front of your crush. Every single time. In reality, these thoughts are like that uninvited guest who shows up at your mental party and steals your snacks. Recognizing these patterns is the first step in kicking them to the curb. And trust me, once you see them for what they are, you'll start laughing at their ridiculousness. Let's talk about overgeneralization. Imagine you've had one sour encounter with a cup of coffee that tasted like burnt rubber. Suddenly, you decide that every cup of coffee is an existential threat to your taste buds and your entire day. That, my friends, is overgeneralization. It's like saying, because I got one bad review on Yelp, all restaurants are out to ruin my life. Not only is it hilariously irrational, but it also stops you from enjoying those little moments of joy that life offers. Here's a fun fact. Our minds are hardwired to notice the negatives. It's the same system that makes your favorite sitcom reruns infinitely funny, because you always catch that one absurd detail. But when it comes to our personal experiences, this tendency can lead to unnecessary self-criticism and anxiety. So next time you find yourself lumping one mishap with all your past experiences, just remember, one bad cup of coffee doesn't define your entire caffeine journey. Ever noticed how some days a tiny setback can completely flip your mood? You spill a little water, and suddenly you're convinced the universe is sending you a not-so-subtle message. You're doomed. Our emotions can sometimes feel like they're in charge of the remote control to your life. But here's the kicker. Your feelings, as intense as they may be, are not the directors of your reality. Picture this. Your mind is like a chaotic office where emotions are the over-caffeinated interns running wild. They might make a mess, but you're the boss here. Instead of letting that spilled water, or a minor setback, ruin your day, take a breath, laugh it off, and remember that these little hiccups aren't the entire script of your life. You have the power to reframe your narrative. And hey, if all else fails, grab a mop and turn that spill into an impromptu dance-off. Now, let's talk about the rigid should statements in the pursuit of perfection, two of the biggest culprits in the toxic thinking playbook. How many times have you thought, I should have done this differently, or I must be perfect at everything? Newsflash, perfection is a myth, like unicorns or that diet you started last January. These should statements are like that overly strict parent in your head who's never satisfied with your performance. They set unrealistic standards and then punish you when you inevitably fall short. Instead of beating yourself up, try reframing your inner dialogue. Replace I should with I choose to or I'm doing the best I can. It's like swapping a harsh alarm clock for a gentle, melodious tune that nudges you awake with kindness. Embrace the beautiful chaos of imperfection, and you might just find that life gets a little less toxic and a lot more fun. Ever chase after happiness like it's a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow? Society loves to tell us that reaching external goals, like landing that dream job, getting the perfect body, or even nailing that Instagram aesthetic, will finally make us happy. But here's a little secret. True happiness isn't a destination. It's a journey. When you tie your self-worth to external achievements, you're setting yourself up for disappointment faster than a cat video goes viral. Think about it this way. If you believe your happiness depends on achieving some far-off milestone, every setback becomes a major crisis. It's like investing your entire self-esteem in one lottery ticket. So, instead of letting external validations dictate your mood, why not focus on cultivating inner joy? Find humor in your missteps, celebrate small victories, and remember that your worth isn't measured by likes, numbers, or societal standards. You're a masterpiece in progress, quirks, flaws, and all. Let's bring it all home. The key to breaking free from toxic thinking patterns is to embrace the present and practice self-love. Life isn't a series of should-have moments. It's an ongoing, unpredictable comedy of errors. And that's what makes it so wonderfully human. Start by challenging those negative thoughts the next time they creep in. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or, am I blowing things out of proportion? Often, you'll find that these toxic thoughts are nothing more than exaggerated versions of reality, like a cartoon character with an oversized head for dramatic effect. Laugh at them, acknowledge them, and then gently let them go. Remember, your feelings don't define your reality. You do. And when you start prioritizing self-care and mindfulness, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Self-love is not about being self-absorbed. It's about nurturing the parts of you that sometimes get lost in the hustle. Whether it's taking a few minutes to meditate, enjoying a hobby, or simply giving yourself a well-deserved pat on the back, every little act of kindness toward yourself counts. And if you mess up, just remember, even the greatest comedians bomb on stage sometimes. What matters is that you keep getting up, learn from your experience, and laugh along the way. So, my friends, if you're wondering, am I the toxic one? The answer is probably not. It's all part of being wonderfully human. We all have our toxic thoughts, our moments of overgeneralization, and those pesky should statements. The trick is not to let them rule your life. Instead, embrace your imperfections, take control of your emotions, and most importantly, laugh at yourself. Whether you're a self-help junkie or just in it for a good laugh, I hope this video gave something to think about, and maybe even a few giggles along the way. Cheers to a healthier mind and a happier life.